Welcome back to the BJJ Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ford. My guest today is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a two-time world champion in the gi and a two-time world champion in no-gi. He's also a two-time Pan Am's champion, once in gi and once in no-gi. He's a three-time AJP Grand Slam champion, an Abu Dhabi World Pro champion, an EUG Grand Prix no-gi champion, and a Who's Number One champion. At the color belt levels, he won countless championships, including Worlds, Pans, South Americans, and Brazilian Nationals. He now trains at Art of Jiu-Jitsu in Costa Mesa, California. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be joined today by Diego Pato Oliveira. How are you today, Diego?
I've been pretty good. And how about you?
I'm great, man. Diego, I appreciate you taking the time to be here today, man. You're someone I always really enjoy. I love watching your matches, man. You're always very exciting. You've got obviously incredible jiu-jitsu. So I'm really looking forward to getting to know you and hear your story. So thanks for taking the time to be here today.
Thank you, guys.
Of course, man. So, Diego, the question I always like to start with, tell us where you're from originally and what your life was like before you found jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm from like a Parintins, that the city like close to Manaus, and then it's like it's a 3 hours flight from Manaus, and then I started jiu-jitsu in Manaus, honestly. And then I moved to Manaus in 2010, and then started jiu-jitsu in 2012. With 13 years old, and then since there, I never stopped it.
That's incredible, man. How did it happen? How did you first find you? Obviously, growing up in Brazil, jiu-jitsu is very popular in Brazil, but how did you eventually connect the dots to start training? How did that begin?
I was looking for like something like to do, like a mixed martial. And then, I don't know, I tried to do box or something like that. I did a capoeira in Brazil, but not in Manaus, in another city. And then I was like looking for something like to sort of like, my plan was to do MMA, but because I was watching UFC a lot. And then like I have a cousin, he do MMA professional, and then he tell me like, hey, do something like boxing or like to be your base, like, or jiu-jitsu. And then I started looking on my neighborhood at that time, and then I was like, and I find a social project over there, and I say, hey, let's do it. And I started doing jiu-jitsu, and I love it.
That's incredible. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Now, I know you said you're from a little bit outside of Manaus, but that whole region of Brazil produces a really crazy amount of champions and tough competitors. In fact, whenever I'm locally in Brazil at tournaments and stuff, I'll see guys look at their brackets and be like, oh man, there's a guy from Manaus in my division. Like, damn, that's going to be a hard fight. Whoever it is, it's going to be a hard fight. What do you remember most about your time coming up training at the social project that you first started at? Was it a pretty tough room? Were there a lot of competitors? What do you remember most?
Yeah, like on that time, it was the project. I was like almost started. Like I was like couple months that they opened that gym, and then I was like a lot of new like white belts, and then I was one of them. And then I think was really good because like all of us we start like growing together at that time, and then like the professor that time was like putting us like to compete like a lot. So it kind of like was personal like inside the gym, because we went to compete like we with like each other. Like say, hey, I get the gold medal. So it was like was fun because everybody was the same level, and then we started growing together. So I stayed there like for almost 1 year until I get my green belt. And then like the social project, unfortunately, like they closed out, and I have to move to my other gym. It was like called Nabil. Over there was like where I started looking to jiu-jitsu, was like to build my career, because over there has a lot of competitors. They flew to Manaus, to São Paulo a lot. So a lot of people like compete outside of Manaus, and I was like try to be one of them. And then like my professor over there like tried to push us a lot. So they say, hey, you have to train, you have to start winning in Manaus first, and then after that we can like try to put you on on a flight to go to São Paulo to see what you can do over there. And then that's when I started to do it. Like I tried to train like more. On that time it was a green belt until I get my blue belt. So Professor Nabil was like my mentor that time. And then he was like, I have a couple guys from the same gym over there. I don't know if you heard about the Soldier brothers, the Alex Soldier and the Diego. It was the same gym over there. And then we grew up together since green belt. And then since there, when I get my blue belt, my professors are like fly me to fight like a Brazilian nationals, all this stuff. And then on that time I started like looking to like build my career, and then start like looking, this is my profession.
That's incredible, man. That's so cool. Now where did the nickname Pato start? So for the non-Portuguese speakers, Pato's Portuguese for duck. Why did they start calling you duck, and when did that start?
It started like on that gym, on the social project, and then because over there has a lot of Diegos, because it was like I think it was 3 guys like I called like Diego, and then when the professor called like, hey Diego, and then like everybody look to him and say, hey, and no, it's another one, and then they guys, all right, we have to put a nickname in all of you guys, because we cannot like call Diego and all of you guys start looking, and then we have to. All right, they start like checking us like the head to the feet and say, you look like this, and they look at me, and I was like so skinny that time. It was like 45 pounds, something like that, like as a 13 years old, and then like my feet was like a wide, and it looks like a pato, and my hands like a little bit bigger too, like nice. You guys can see. And then I was like, oh, you look like a pato, and they say, all right, let's call you Pato, like Diego Pato. So, and since there they started looking, hey Pato, and then finally like everybody like finally like the professor that have like trouble anymore with like call us and, hey, now you Pato, you are like this one and you were another one, so now you don't have a problem when you call you guys.
That's incredible.
Since there was like my 5 months already on the gym, and the guys like, all right, your name is Pato now, so you cannot call you Diego. When I heard somebody like call me Diego, I sound like a weird, because like since 11 years, the guys call me Pato, and I say, all right, awesome. Now my name is Pato. I'm thinking about it like to go to the place to change my name.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I always appreciate the Brazilian nicknames because they're always silly. It's always something funny or comical. Yeah, it's very rarely that a guy has a nickname like Dragon or Killer or Assassin. It's always something funny. You know, and it's usually like a really tough person, a good jiu-jitsu guy that has a silly name. So that's really fun, man. Now you mentioned that you started competing pretty quickly. What was it about competition that grabbed you? Do you think that you were always naturally a pretty competitive person, or do you think the jiu-jitsu awoke that within you?
Yeah, once when I step on the gym, I was like, look, hey, the first of all question I did to the professor was like, you guys compete here? And then he said, yes, we compete. They say like, and the first I was like, hey, I can compete, and the professor, yes, for sure, but you have to learn first, and started going to the tournaments, and I say, oh, that's cool. And then I started going almost every day, because the gym over there was open almost all day long, and then on the morning, afternoon, and at night too. And I would say, all right, I can go I can come on the morning. He said yes, and then just that time on the morning was just a couple people, 3 guys just training, and then and I have a more attention of the professor, because it was just couple guys that have many people, and then he give more attention for us. They say, hey, this is an arm lock, this is a triangle, you can do this, you can do that, and I was I have a lot of tension in the beginning, and then when I went to like a train at night, it was like better because I already have a tension from the morning, like all the session in the morning and afternoon, and when I get to at night, I was much better like to to do like to apply the techniques, you know, and yeah, and then after like 2 months, and I did my first tournament, and then I won, and I was like so incredible, and I feel like really good, and then like say I was like so confident on that time, and then I went to my second tournament and I lost, and I got so mad.
Yeah, it's ups and downs, right? High highs and low lows.
Yeah.
And, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
What style, what positions and techniques in jiu-jitsu do you think you really naturally gravitated towards? Was there any aspect of the jiu-jitsu game that you felt really naturally was for you right away?
My first professor, he was like a guy who played a lot of half guard.
Nice.
So it's kind of like the guard. So he sort of like teach us like how to pull guard, like to the close guard, and then like arm bars, triangles, like cross choke, and all of this like technique is include to like for the guard, and then was like a kind of like a natural to me, like to start learning like something like from the guard, you know, and it was like, yeah, he played a lot of like a half guard, and then he started doing half guard, he inverse de la Riva, and I started like looking into that, and then I was starting like check on the YouTube more things about like a guard, and then he teach us like a lot of guard retention. On that time, it was like the basic ones for sure, but was like a very helpful for us because that time we didn't know nothing, and it was like a kind of not a lot of people does like a good guard retention that time, because like a white belt, like nobody can do that like really well. So he focused a lot like on the guard retention to us, because his game was like a half guard, and then if the guys like pass, and he has to like belly down all the stuff to recover like really well, and then that's why like he teaches like a lot of like guard retention, like when the guy like hit the side control, we have to recover fast, not like give the back, all the stuff. So was pretty good, and then that I think that's why like I was like a very natural to me to sort of like play a lot of guard on that time. So I think was like that's the point to be more natural on the guard.
That's excellent. Well, anyone that sees you compete obviously knows what a great guard you have, man. And particularly your retention. Your guard retention is something else, man. I've studied a lot of your footage to help with my own retention, and I definitely want to pick your brain about that later for sure. I mean, we'll come back to that. We'll get to the technical side of the conversation. But I know there's another part of your story that was a big chapter of your life, and that was the move from to Sal Pao to work under Sister Costa. How did that happen?
Yeah.
And tell us about that time period, if you don't mind.
So like I say, this is my dog.
Oh, she's cute. Is it a dachshund?
Yeah, it's a dachshund.
Awesome, man. Great dogs. Great
dogs. Man. Yeah.
All right, go down. Just a second.
So yeah, like I say, when I moved to my second professor, because the social project closed out, and then Nabil, he was like he has like more competitor on that time. So like a lot of people going like out of the Manaus and like to fight like in São Paulo, Rio, like all the stuff. So on that time I was already have like a lot of I couldn't see a lot of people going out to fight, and I was like a kind of like sort of like growing inside of me like I want to be one of them, and then. And I started going to São Paulo to fight couple nationals, and then I did like pretty good most of the time, but like I lost a lot. And then like my professor in Manaus, at Nabil, he say like, "Oh, you know what? I think you have to be more active like on that scenario, like a national scenario, because you're good here in Manaus, but like you're not like on the level of like the of Brazil, you know what I'm saying? Like out of Manaus, because you have to I think you have to be there to compete because like São Paulo and Rio is like where is the most tournaments in Brazil. So they have a South America, Brazilian National, all this stuff like trials, all of this. And then he say, "Oh, you have to compete more, but if you live here in Manaus, it's kind of like a hard because it's too expensive to go to all these tournaments and keep like active on that one, and then it's like a lot of money." And then say, if you want to live off like jiu-jitsu, you have to move. And then I asked him like, "Oh, what do you mean?" And he said, "I think you have to like go to São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, or something like that to start live over there and start fighting. Like it's much easier to go back and forth to any city in Brazil." And then say I started thinking, "Oh, yeah, he's right." And then he started to like, "Hey, what do you think you're going to Sister Costa?" And then say, "Yeah, pretty good." And then I say, "All right, let's do like a kind of." He called a couple small group inside of the gym, and he say he's raise money for all of them and say, "Hey, let's start like this raise money." I don't know how to call this one in English, but
no, you said it right.
raising money.
Raise money.
Yeah. So raise money for all of them, like of this small group, and they say, "Oh, we're gonna buy the ticket flight from Pato," and then he gonna live in São Paulo now. And a lot of people started like help me. Wow. That was kind of cool because they say, "Oh, everybody like believe in me," so that's good.
That's amazing.
And then like he started like raising money, and then he bought the ticket flight, and then also give you like little money to, "Hey, this is for you. I don't know how long it's gonna take to spend it all, but this is like for you." So he's like, "Give it." I say, "All right, thank you." And then this was in 2015. I started in 2012. It's not too long between like when I started and then when I leave out of Manaus. And then it was 2017, 15, and I moved to Cicero and in São Paulo. So I started living in the gym over there. So yeah, it was like with my professor Nabil was like kind of like a push me more than like myself.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, first of all, having a network of people like that believe in you so much is obviously a huge motivator and huge that kind of support. But secondly, having just the opportunity to move to the bigger city and be in a place where you can be more active just because of the volume of tournaments. That's huge, man. Now, I understand that Cicero had with his social project that he had set up, he had a place for you to stay. There was like food available. It was basically like you were staying in like a college almost. What was that like during that time?
Yeah, well, that on that time he was like has a kind of like a house for everybody, but like everyone has to pay a small price over there, but because just to maintain the house. Sure. And then he give to the people who live over there was like a kind of just the basic ones like carbs, like rice, beans, like the protein you have to get it, you know. So you just buy like a chicken, meat, whatever you want. And but I was not able to pay to stay on the house. So and they say, "Oh, you can live on the gym if you want. So just stay there for 1 week. If you like it, you can stay. If you don't like it, you can go." And then like the first week, I was like a turbo. Like it was like the worst experience that I had because I was like 15 years old on that time. I was like living by myself. It's kind of like a scare. And then like I was like so far from my dad because I was living with my dad that time. And then I was like kind of harder to me. And it was like, oh, I have to do by myself everything. So I was like, that time I just have money for nothing. I have to work to do something, you know, like to live. And I don't want to like, ask you to my professor that time because he already did that time like a lot for me. So I don't like ask, hey, can you raise more money? No, I was like, all right, it's fine. I'm gonna fix this by myself. And then once, and then I was like there like 1 week, like 3 weeks already. It was like a lot of things. And then I was thinking about to come back to Manaus on that time, but I don't have a money to buy the ticket. So I had to stay. And then and I stay and I was just training, and then I have to raise money with the other guys over there to buy a food. And then when the money is gone, I was like kind of harder because we have to look for some like job to do. And I was trying to work on the tournaments for registration, and then with the registration we fight the open class, and then with the open class, if like we have a chance to win like money with the open class if you want. So by most of the time we don't want, so we just like to fight, and then it's kind of hard that time, and I was like always like up and down. And then it's really tough for that time, and it's kind of like we don't have like food to eat sometimes, so we had just like eat like once a day, or like once like every 2 days we ate, so we have to just train it with the water. Wow. So it's a part of my life. It's hard to talk, like I don't talk to like many people because it's kind of like a part of my life I don't want to remember. So this is kind of harder, and then but I think it's necessary to people like heard about, and then start see was like it's possible to keep you like keep moving forward, because it's like one day we're gonna turn the key, and then you start living from jiu-jitsu. It's like it's much better. It's not impossible to live from jiu-jitsu. Just you have to believe yourself, and then all the stuff, and then of course like up and down is gonna come, and then you have to keep strong. So that's like what I did, and at that time was keep strong. and I saw like to Professor like Sister Costa. He was already help a lot of people. It's like more than like 50 people. And then I don't want to be like one more guy over there, like not blame, like asking, like beg for help, like, hey, can you help me? Hey, can do this? Hey, you can do that. So I don't want to be that guy, like one more guy, because there's already a lot of people over there. So it was like a bunch of guys from everywhere. So, and he's already have to take care of his gym, to the athletes, to the student, and who's paid the gym. So he has to take care of all of them. So I was like, I'm not gonna be that one more guy for him to be worried about. So just like, all right, I'm gonna have to do by myself everything. So I just training, rest, and try to do my Brazil we call like a correria, and it's kind of like you have to do the work like outside, like to do your stuff. Yeah. You have to do your stuff like to live. Yeah. So that's what we did. And it was kind of harder because my dad is called us. Every day he called me and say, hey, you're okay? So yes, of course, I'm good. You already ate? Like, yeah. I don't like to tell him like the truth. And then on this day it was like a Father's Day. And I went there like for 2-3 months or something like that on the gym. And then he called me, say, hey, are you okay? So yeah, I'm good. And you already ate? Yeah. I say to him, happy Father's Day and all the stuff. He say, yeah, I miss you. Yeah. And I want to turn off the cell phone like real quick because like I don't want to like he feel like I'm like a pass for these things, you know what I mean? And then was more. I know he feel because he's daddy, right? Of course, like dad feels some things. Yeah. So he was like, hey, I feel your voice is not like on the right pace, And then I was like, no, I'm good. I have to train it. Bye. And then I turn off. And then that day I was like Saturday, something like that. And then me and a couple of friends over there was like so hungry. And then like I didn't win a lot of tournaments over there. I just like won like open for a BJJF in Rio, and I was like nothing because I don't have money to go 12, and then it was like a little bit expensive to go like every tournament, and I was all right. And then in the Cicero, like on the gym, has a lot of bunch of like medals on the wall, like from Cicero from Meow Brothers on that time. And then I look at, and I was like, me and my friends was like, I'm so hungry. I say, you know what? I'm gonna look for sponsorship, like of like a restaurant right here. And then I looked to the wall. I grabbed like a bunch of like medals. Was not mine. Was like from like Meow, like Paulo João, Cicero, like a Leandro Lo, and I was looking like a European, like a word, like everything, like get everything, like put on my neck, and I walk around on the street, and I walk on the street, and then like the guy's like, hey, where are you going? I say, I'm going to try to look at like sponsor for food, and then say, all right, I'm going with you. So all right, let's go. And me and my two guys, and they started looking for, I think it was God, because we went to the place, was like kind of like a bougie restaurant. It's a little bit expensive on that time. And then like nobody, like a lot of people went there, asked for sponsor. They say no, like Meow, Leandro, like a bunch of guys. Can you imagine, like if the guys say to if the people from restaurant say no for Meow Brothers, like of course they're gonna say no for us, right? And I don't know, like we just go straight to that restaurant, and then we went there. It was like a Father's Day, and the whole family was on the table, like eating all the stuff. And then I say, yeah, I want to talk to the manager, and the guy like, why? So no, can I talk to the manager just a little bit? Yeah. And the lady's coming, and then I started talking like, hey, I'm from Manaus, all this stuff. My dream is like be a black belt world champion. And then she say, oh, that's good. And then she started hurting. And then I say to her, I'm not like asking too much. I'm just asking like for plate of food. That's it. Well, every day. And then she say, and then she like turned the side like this, and I see her family like eating, and all of them like eating good. And she say like, all right, you guys hungry? And I'm like, yes, for sure. So just go eat, bro. It like the plate was like this size right here, and then like we make like this size of like food.
A mountain, yeah.
Yeah, a mountain. And then she went like close to us again, and I put the hand on my shoulder like this. Oh, you guys hungry? All right, come back tomorrow. And then like it was like no way. And then like me and my friend like, fuck it, let's go. And then I went to Professor like Cicero, and then say, hey, you know what? We get a sponsor. And say, what kind of sponsor, like from food? And I say, what do you mean? Yeah, like the restaurant, the name of like Sabor Gaúcho is like a kind of like a barbecue place, like have a good food over there. And then like he say, hell no. I say, yes, no, I don't believe you guys. Why not? And then because like a lot of people went there, like no one like get it. Well, why you guys get it? So what is special you guys are? So like I don't know. I just talked to her, like open my heart for her, and then she got it. And then they no way, like Meow Brothers went there. She don't give to them, like Leandro, like a bunch of good guys from Cicero like went there and say, yeah, but like she give to us, and then she said to come back tomorrow every day like at 3 p.m. And then why? I don't know. So you want to go there? All right, let's go. And then we went there like next day with Professor, and then he didn't believe, and then he say, you sure you sponsor them? And then like she said, yes, like they can come back like every day, like, and they open every day. They open every day, so like Monday to Monday, and it was so good. And then they say, and then he got there like say, all right, thank you so much for help them, all this stuff. So no worries, it's okay. And then he was so happy, and say, and then he looked at us like Professor Cicero, he say, all right, congratulations. I say, all right. Was
Man.
good that time.
Diego, it is very easy to see why you became a world champion, man. I'm blown away by that story. When I first asked you that question about your time spent at Cicero's Academy, I had this image in my head that you were in like a hostel where athletes were living and being fed and given. I didn't realize that's how the story was. That you weren't there for long and you did have to live on the mats as a 15-year-old. And man, I mean, the internal strength that it takes to be 15 years old in a new city away from your dad, struggling and hiding the struggle from your dad and pushing through that. I mean, that is so incredibly inspirational, man. I really appreciate you sharing that story. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, that is just awesome, man. So when did things start really taking off then? So you got this sponsorship. So now food was covered. You had a tough place to train. When did competition success really start kicking in? When did you start really racking up wins and gold medals?
But like you say, as I was already have a food and a like tough place to training, and I was like, no, I'm gonna start like think about like to compete more. And then I saw a lot of people like going like. Now I was different because when I was in Manaus, I was looking for the people going out of Manaus, going to São Paulo, Rio. When I went to São Paulo and I started to see people going to out of like Brazil, like USA, Abu Dhabi to fight a World Pro, and I was like thinking about it, like, so how can I do that? And then I was like, I have to like raise money. And then like I started like fighting open classes like to get money because like they pay like kind of like a $800, 800 real. That time it was kind of like a $200 and in USA. And I was like, all right, I have to like fight every weekend. And I started message to the people from the organization because that time like all the organization know. The people from Cicero, they are tough, and then they can bring like attention to the event, and then start like a message to the guys. Hey, can we like work for registration and then they compete? Say yes. All right, you guys are working. You be like the ring coordinator or something like that, and then you can like put the mats on the event, like organize everything. Yeah. And I was like, all right. No worries, we can do this and then fight for the open class and yeah, it's fine. You guys for free. All right, good.
Nice.
We was like sending like bunch of message for everybody, and then I started doing this and we started like a win and lose, win and lose, like up and down all the time. But it was 2016. I was on my best like year as a blue belt because I was compete in Saturday division an open class, and then Sunday division open class. It's like two tournaments in one weekend, and then I started raising money. So I was like, take like a 1,000 real. It's kind of like a $300 like every weekend. I was like, all right. So now I get the gold, and now I started raising money, and then like I was save money for my food. Saving money for 12, and then save money for like invest another like tournament. So now I don't need to work anymore because now I can pay. So now I started paying the registration like by myself, and then I started going to the tournaments like without like I have to work. So I just like go there, compete, and come back. And I was like doing this like for 1 year straight, and then on the end of the year, the 2016, I went to Rio to fight the Grand Slam, Rio de Janeiro. So they pay like a 500 USA, and then like all right, this is a good money, and I won. And then my way back to São Paulo, my friend, like I think you know, the Tyson. Yeah. He said, hey, I have a trials from Abu Dhabi to go to Abu Dhabi in Colombia. And they say, oh, that's good. And he said, I cannot go because I'm juvenile and you are adult already. So I'm just going to be like an adult the next year. So I think you should go. And say, me? Yeah, you should go. I say, why? because like you can like win the open class and then get the whole package paid for them by then, and you can go to Abu Dhabi like for free. And say, yeah, how much is this? Like, let's check. And then we went to the Google looking for like a ticket fly, all this stuff. Bro, I just have that money, like a $500 on my hand, and then he say, oh, the ticket fly plus the registration is like a $500. And I look at him like, no man, no way. So, and they say, oh, you have a choice. Or you spend all this money right now, or you keep this and then stay like the rest of the year like good, because like $500 over there is like really good. It's a lot of money. Or invest this, and then like you keep doing what you're doing, and to get there, they say, all right, fuck it, let's go. And I put all my money on that flight, on registration. We went to the place like this was like in October, and then the trial was in December, and I didn't know it was like winning or not. I was kind of nervous that time. And then when I won, we went there, I won, and I was like, think by myself like for a couple minutes, like, oh my God, I going to Abu Dhabi, and then like no way. And I was kind of like I didn't believe that time was like for a couple minutes, like, man, but like this is like 6 months. I have to go to Abu Dhabi, and then like I was thinking about it, like, God, don't believe it. I think from there, and I started like that's like when we turned the key, and then say, yeah, now I can live from jiu-jitsu. So I think it was that time when I won the Abu Dhabi Grand Slam, and I paid the registration of the trials in Colombia. And it was my first like international flight, international competition. So in Colombia, and I went there, win, and I come back, and wait for the Abu Dhabi, and then yeah, that was good. So that's like now I can live from jiu-jitsu for sure, because now I know how to do the thing. So we call like an investment, right? So we invest in yourself, like going like back and forth to the tournaments. Of course, it's not gonna bring a lot of money, like a return money to you, but this is gonna bring to you like on the future for sure. So it's invest now, and you're gonna collect on the future, like in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna bet.
That is so cool, man.
Yeah.
Diego, I love stories like this where people are just all in on something, especially on jiu-jitsu. And it's really cool because nowadays the opportunities that exist in jiu-jitsu are better and better all the time. Like
for sure.
The opportunity, even if you don't become like a world champion or win super fights and things like that, if you dedicate yourself to the art and you get your black belt, you can at the very least open a school or do seminars or work in an academy. So there's lots of great career paths, man. But I love these kinds of stories where you hear someone who really in every way just went all in. You left everything back home to go to Sao Paulo. You spent the $500 that you needed for that ticket, and that was a real coin toss because it's jiu-jitsu. And people win and lose all the time, so you never know how it's going to turn out. But it's so cool that everything turned out so well for you, man. I'm blown away by your story, dude. I really love this story.
Yeah,
I appreciate you sharing it, man. Diego,
yeah.
Diego, I'll tell you what, man. We've reached about the halfway point of the show, man. This is where I always play a game with my guests. This is a game called the Pummel. The Pummel is a series of random questions. Some of these are about jiu-jitsu. Some of these have nothing to do with jiu-jitsu. But if you're down to play the Pummel, I'd love to play this game with you.
Okay.
All right, cool. So question 1: what's the worst job you ever had?
Construction.
Construction. That's a rough one. Yeah. What kind of construction did you do? What did you have to do on the job site?
Crazy. Where?
Yeah, no, like what kind of construction work did you have to do? Like what stuff? What did you do specifically?
It was like Manaus. Was in Manaus. Like work on the construction of my student, my professor Nabil. He don't want me to do it, but like it was that time. I was like, I need money. So, all right, Pato, you better in jiu-jitsu than like a working. And I said, but I need money. And then like, all right, go ahead. Do your stuff. And then like 1 month later, I quit. I said, I don't want this anymore because I was like sore every day. And then also here in USA, but I was like, it's like on the construction right here. And I was like, all right, I have to raise money like for a short time, and then let's do it. And yeah,
That's awesome.
but it was the worst.
Construction and jiu-jitsu is a tough. It can be an interesting combination. It can be tough, and it can also be good, because working a physical job keeps you in good shape, keeps you strong. But if you injure yourself in construction, now you can't train as well. And if you injure yourself in training, you can't work very well. So it's kind of it's kind of a weird balance where yes, both things keep you in shape, but as soon as there's an injury or like you're real sore after work, it can affect the other. So
exactly.
I'm glad you don't have to do that anymore, man. What do you think is a secret talent that you have?
My secret talent? I'm a black belt. I have like a multiple talents.
Yeah,
I think that's my talent.
Jiu-jitsu is no secret, man. We all know you're good at jiu-jitsu. What else? Can you play any music? Can you dance? Can you cook? Any?
I can. I think I can drive well.
Drive well, nice, good driver. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, when you say drive well, do you mean that you can race well, or do you drive safely?
I think race.
Okay.
Race. I can race because
it's an important distinction.
I have a sim race simulator here, so I play all day like Formula 1. I think like I'm a good driver for sure.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. That's really cool. What's something outside of jiu-jitsu that you wish you were better at? What's something you wish you could do better?
It's a tough question. Out of jiu-jitsu, I don't have nothing big.
It's all about jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I don't have like time to do another stuff. Like I say, I started like a really too young, like 13 years old, and at that time I was like on school, and then like I moved to São Paulo, was like 15 years old, and then I did nothing, like just like I tried to like working to raise money, and then that's it. So like but like that works was like for short time, so that was good. So I didn't like did too much like outside of jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I think was this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. What do you think is the worst injury you've ever had?
A lot. Like shoulders, knees, ankles.
Those are
a bunch of them.
Yeah, those are three of the worst for sure. I think neck, shoulder, and knees for me are like the worst, like the most debilitating injuries. So
yeah, and lower back too. I think.
Yeah, lower back's awful. Lower back's awful too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but nothing. You don't have anything that's been bothering you consistently. You pretty healed up from
knees.
That your knees still bother you. Yeah.
Yeah, and the shoulders, but the both shoulders like. Terrible.
Really? Oh man. Well, it doesn't look like it when I watch you compete. You don't look like you're having too much trouble, but you're good at keeping that to yourself, though. That's good.
I think we learn like a lot with the injuries too, because we have to prepare our body for jiu-jitsu, for injuries, and then to prevent that we have to lift weights. Yeah. So and I started like lifting weight. Like before was like nothing, just like a pull-ups, like a push-ups, and I think that was like my physical conditional, and then like with the time I started like when I was like a purple belt, I started like get injury like serious, and then I started like get into it like more like deep, and I started study about like injuries, and I started like I have to do this, I have to do that, and I started looking to prepare my body to try to avoid the injuries. So now I think like the lifting weights, like all this stuff, like have been helped me to keep my body like tight. Yeah. So I think I learned a lot with the injuries too, because if you don't prepare yourself, you're gonna be injured like a lot of times. So I think I learned a lot. So now I'm doing like lifting weights three times a week.
That's great.
sure.
That's actually, yeah, it's very important. I always find that when I injure myself, it's when I'm not simultaneously lifting. It's when I've kind of slacked off on lifting. And I feel like the more I lift, the less injured I get. So that's very good advice, man. I think it's very true. What is your favorite bad food to eat? What's your favorite junk food?
All of them.
All of them, yeah.
I mean, I like to eat like junk food for sure, but I think I like eat a lot of food, like rice, beans, meat, steaks. This is, I think, I eat a lot when I'm not like cutting weight for tournaments, or when I'm not like on camps. I eat a lot of meat, like steaks, like ribeyes. That one's like this size, this thick, and then I think like more. But like my favorite one in California is In-N-Out.
In-N-Out, yeah, that's a classic.
That burger,
yeah,
that's a classic.
It's a classic, yeah. If you're ever on the West Coast and you're wanting some junk food, In-N-Out's a solid choice for sure.
Yeah, for sure. They have one here, like on the back of my house.
Oh, so that's dangerous, man.
Another block.
Oh, that's dangerous, bro. That's dangerous. For when you're cutting weight, that's got to be hard. You have to like shut the window so you can't see it.
Yeah.
Diego, what do you think was the scariest moment of your life?
The scariest ones.
If you had any like crazy near-death experiences or anything like that?
I don't know if you know about the Herbert Santos.
Yeah,
you know him.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Unfortunately, like he gets so up and downs on their life.
Yeah.
I think a bunch of people don't know this, but like one day he went to BH. It's like a Belo Horizonte. It's has an open over there. And then I was text his brother. He's like from Manaus too. So Albert's like he was like all the time in Manaus, training with us and the BU as well. So we kind of have a relationship at that time. And then his brother was with him on that time. I was like a blue belt. And then I text him and say, hey, you're going to BH? And he said, yes, I go and I'm going to help Herbert right here. And I'm just going to support him. I'm not going to fight. And I say, oh, man, I'm already like pay my registration, but I don't have a money to go there, like pay for the tickets. And then like even like the bus or whatever. They say, all right, give you a second. I'm going to talk to Herbert if he can give a Heidi, right?
Give you a ride, yeah.
Hide.
Give you a ride.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he say, all right, just give me a second. And then he go there, he talk to his brother, and then say, hey, you can come with us. And say, you sure? Yeah, you don't have to pay nothing. He gonna pay for everything. He gonna go by car. And then, all right, sounds good. And then I went, and we went to the BH. Was nice. It was like 6 hours, like driving. And then, all right, good. Now, our way back, and then we stopped the car like midnight. And then I was like, hey, I want to sleep. And then he sleep. We wake up like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., something like that. He put a gas on the car, but he was like, once he get the road, he was like so fast. And then like have like when they have a bump on the road.
Yeah.
So he was like a kind of, I don't know, like so fast. He was so fast. And then when they bumped the car, and then like the car started like a slide like this.
Oh, no.
And then he tried to hold the wheel and like this instead of like a Lego, tried to come back, like I don't know. It was so quick. And then the car went to like outside of the road, and then started slide like to the side like this, kind of drift.
Oh man. And
it was like for a few seconds, and then on the outside of the road they have like something like a hole, and then the tires get stuck and start flip the car.
Oh no.
So we flipped the car like more than 10 times, and like it was like a hill, like all the way down. Was the road right here, and the wheel was like here. So we went to on the wheel, like, and it's like a flip on the wheel on the hill, right? Hill. And then like was like once like you stop the car, my reaction was like be a ball, like holding my knees like this. Yeah. And once like my life like passed on my mind like for in 5 seconds was like think everything, my mom, my dad, my life, everything.
Oh, man.
And then we stopped the car. I was like checking my body like this.
Make sure you're all intact.
I was like my hand. Yeah. I was like my feet, whatever. I like my body. And I check him, hey, are you okay? And then say, yes, I'm okay. And he bumped his head. He kind of dizzy on that time. And it was like, hey man, what happened? I don't know. I think I bumped the car or something like that. And then his brother was on the back, was sleeping, and he fell off of the car.
Oh no.
And then it was like nobody get injured. And then I was like a kind of like a crazy moment on my life. And then he didn't know how to how can I say to respond to anybody. He was like, he get the phone, he looked at the time, like, oh man, like nobody, like I just like sit on the corner. I was like, man, this is crazy. And then he posted something like that on the Instagram, and he deleted like right away. But that time he was like a famous guy, and then a lot of people started asking, like, boom, boom, boom. And they sent a message to me, and they, hey Pato, you okay? You was with him. What happened? And then it was like kind of, I don't know, like out of my mind that time. And I was like, I went to his house and I was like, oh my God, I had to come back to Cicero. He gonna like fight with me. He gonna like, I don't know. He gonna kick me out. I don't know. I was thinking like a lot of things. I think the worst part of my life was like that day.
Wow, man.
I was a blue belt.
Jeez, I'm glad that no one was hurt, man. That is really scary. When the car stopped, were you guys up? You guys weren't upside down. You landed on the. You stopped on.
Yeah,
the
we went like a normal, like this one,
man.
And then
jeez,
a lot of people from the sides right here, the side of the road, they came in to us and they asked, hey, are you guys okay? I said, yes, everybody fine. Nothing on the body, nothing.
Wow.
And then the guy starts talking like, hey man, it was huge. I saw a lot of accident on the road. The guys just flip one time. They die. They lose their arm, lose their legs or whatever. But you guys flip a lot and then nothing. Wow. And I was confused, like I didn't like I resolve the anything. I was like
just
I was like thinking about like
shock. Yeah.
I was in shock. I was like kind of like serious thing.
Bro, that is crazy, man. I'm so glad that you guys are all right. Seriously. Yeah, that is a really scary situation, man.
Not a lot of people know this, but like now I have the chance. You ask, it was the worst.
I appreciate you sharing it, man. I appreciate you sharing it. It's definitely a crazy one, man. That's wild. Well, here, let me ask you another one here. Who do you think is your favorite grappler of all time? Favorite jiu-jitsu fighter?
All time? Crazy.
It's a hard one, right?
Mm-hmm. I have a bunch of them. I live with a lot of them too. So pretty much I know a little part of the life of them. But I enjoy to watch. I enjoy the to be part of the day life. It was like my friends, right, for sure. And then a lot of course, I have a bunch of grapplers. I'm gonna tell you guys, but they already like famous, all this stuff. I don't know like the history, but like the people that I live, I think was like I'm fan of them. So my friends, my wife, of course, like because I was able to watch them like in person. So I was like my friend, like I live the same thing. I'm like I was living, like I try to help each other, and then it's kind of cool. So I'm fan of them. Of course, like Tyson. They have another guy was with us, like Jonas, and then Kalel, Jonas, all these guys. It was like my favorite grapplers. But also, I I was able to see some part of the guys like Miao brothers. I have a huge fan. Like I'm a huge fan of them too. Like what they did for jiu-jitsu, what they keep doing, and what how they live for jiu-jitsu. So Leandro Lo was like one of them too. Zamorilo Santana is like, no, I don't have a word for these guys too. And then a bunch of guys like I was able to see like closely, and then yeah, that's that. I think I'm like really fan of this guy for sure. But of course, a lot of people have opinions, and they say, hey, this guy was the most one like win or did this a lot. But I like to be roots, like I want to see the base. So that's what I like, and so I don't take the, for example, Buchecha is like the greatest of all the time for sure. He won like a 13th title, so he's good. A lot of people like him. I like him too, but honestly, I like to put my friends on first and this guy.
That's awesome. No, that's great, man. I mean, that's really cool that like you said, you've had such great exposure to such great people in jiu-jitsu, and not only they're your favorite athletes, but they're people that you've really connected with personally. I think that's awesome, man. That's really cool. What do you think is your biggest phobia?
Phobia?
You afraid of heights, bugs, snakes, anything like that?
I think to have nothing to eat.
That's a good one. That's a good one, man. But
I mean, yeah. So that I think that everything that I passed, like on the past, I think was like one of this. Like I don't have nothing to that time, so that's why like I kind of like I'm scared right now. So that's why like I'm working. Like that's why I'm training. That's why like I'm keep doing what I'm doing. Not. Of course, I love it, what I do, like jiu-jitsu. I want to be one of the greatest of that all the time too. But instead of that, I have to look to myself as well, because this phase is like short. It's like in 10 years, like have another guy who's gonna come up and then take my spot for sure. But until that, I'm gonna try to keep doing my thing, and then. But also I want to create my legacy, and then I want to build my gym. I want to be safe on the future for sure. So yeah, I think my phobia is just like I don't have enough food.
Yeah, no, I think
I'm from Manaus. I don't have a phobia from like snake or something like that. So I've been from my city, have a lot of things. So I have a punter. Yeah. I joke with a lot of guys like, hey, you're from Manaus, you have a jungle. I say, yes, I have a panther, like a pet, I since they was like this size, and then, you sure? I said, yeah, for sure. It's still with my mom over there, and then they have this big size, and I show something like from the photo from the Google. Look her. So this is my pet in Manaus, and then. Oh man, you look like a Tarzan. So yeah, for sure. Look, I'm a Mowgli.
That's awesome, dude. I love that.
I start like, yeah. I mean, the guys that they don't know, like, oh, Manaus is like a big city.
Yeah, it's a very developed city. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like a lot of people think they have a jungle, all this stuff. They hear
Amazonia. They think that you're in the jungle.
Yeah,
but no, it's a huge city.
Yeah, and I start a joke with them and say, yeah, I have a panther over there, like a pet, and then they say, oh man, before has a crocodile. It's crazy, and the guys are like this. And all right.
That's some high level trolling, man. Congratulations. That's very nice. That's very good. Yeah, man. I think as far as your phobia, man, I think the days of you not having food are long behind you, man. You've got a very bright future, dude. When you're done competing, you'll have a great school and things will continue going for you. So don't.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a phobia you can throw away, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Who's your soccer team in Brazil? Do you have a soccer team?
Yeah, Flamengo.
Flamengo, nice.
Manaus don't have like a big team over there, so that's why we cheer for the team from another states.
Yeah, for sure. We talked earlier about about your favorite food to eat. What's your most hated food? What's a food that you just can't eat?
Before I would say like vegetables and salad, but now I have to cut a lot away, and then I started like, I kind of like it about salad and vegetables. I mean, it's not my favorite, but I can eat. But I think that the most that I hate, peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. Okay, yeah.
Peanut butter, and then like como fala sardinha?
Sardines.
Yeah, sardines.
Yeah.
Because bro, I ate a lot when I was like a young. Like man, you could believe it. Like it was like that time. It was like eat sardines and then pastas all day long.
Yeah,
like on the breakfast, on the lunch, dinner. So this like for 2-3 months until I get the sponsor. So it was like terrible. I couldn't eat pasta for 2 years.
Oh man.
Just rice and beans. After get the sponsor, just rice and beans. And then I couldn't eat like a pasta or sardines. And then I went to SA. I live in the gym too in Brea, and I was like peanut butter jelly all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Peanut butter jelly, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I was like, man, no, I can't do this no more. It's crazy.
I remember when I was young, man. I worked in a chicken. My first job after high school was working in a fried chicken joint, and I would I'd be there all day, every day. And by the time I was done working there for a few months, I couldn't even look at chicken. Like I didn't want to see chicken. So I can totally relate. When you're forced to eat one thing or be around one thing all the time,
yeah,
it's like, dude, I need a break. I can't even look at it. So I totally I totally get it. Who do you think is your favorite superhero?
Superhero? My dad.
Dad, good answer.
My dad.
Good answer, man.
Yeah, because it's a long story short. You can imagine it. So if I started talking about that my whole life, you're gonna be here like days.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of tough, Like when my mom was pregnant, and then my real dad don't want to know about me, so say, hey, you know what? It's better you give him away. So this guy told my mom, and then like my mom said, yeah, maybe because I don't have the money, and you don't want to help it, and then he said, yeah, it's better to do that, and then all right. And my mom, she was like. She work in it's kind of like on the parties, like in Manaus we call like food truck, and then you have a food truck, you sell like the foods, whatever. But like in Manaus have like kind of truck, but of like drinks, so it's like tequila, whatever. So this type of things. And she met a guy who works on the same thing, and then she tell him like, hey, you know what? I'm pregnant, but I kind of like you. And then he said, yeah, no worries, and you can let's work together. So because I'm gonna take care of you because you're pregnant, you cannot like do a lot of, have things because the drinks like a heavy, the package of the drinks is heavy, so you have to go up and down on the truck. So boom, like serve everybody, everything. And say, yeah, I got you. And then she was like, when she had me, I mean, she said to him, say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna give you away because his daddy don't wanna know about him. And then he said, no, I got it. Just I got you. And then she said, no, it's not fair with you because you're not even the dad. So and then he said, I don't care. I always have I always want a boy, and then this guy already have like a kids, but it was just woman, but like with the past married, and then I was like, no, I always want a boy. So but and my mom tried to convince me like to not like a kid because she was kind of like feels not fair, and then this guy like, you know what? this is gonna be mine. And then he stole me, and I stole from the hospital, bring to another city, registration me like on under his name, and then bring back to my mom, and then say now he's mine. So
Wow.
so my hero.
That's incredible.
So this is like since my 15 days, like 2 weeks alive, after my mom getting me, like just my 6 days alive, So he getting me, he moved to another city, he registration me on his name, say put his name on me, and then bring it back, say now he's my son, and then everything he needed I'm gonna give to him. So since that, like my mom like stayed with him like a lot of years, and then when I was like already like 10 years, and then they separate, but I'm still like contact with him for sure, because they still like work on the same job, like, and then they was a good partner, so they help each other, so they know how to work together, and then that's why they don't separate it with their work, so just separate on their life, like together. So, and then since that, and after that, like started live with him, because I love him for sure. And then the other ones, like I saw him on my city, but they never like know about me. They want to know about me. So
your biological dad.
Yeah. So I don't feel I didn't feel nothing for him that time too. So it was like more with another one. So my stepdaddy, like my real daddy.
Yeah.
And then that's why. So that's my hero.
Dude, what an incredible human being, man. That's better than any superhero you could have possibly listed, dude. And I appreciate you sharing that story. That makes me emotional, man. That's a powerful story.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
I know.
Diego, if you could pick a superpower, what superpower would you choose?
Go back to the past.
Travel in time, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that one's good. It's gonna be good.
It's good.
Should be good.
You'd never make mistakes again, man. Or if you made mistakes, you could always go back and fix them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Good for jiu-jitsu. Like if you get swept, for like if you lose a match or something, you can go back and do the other thing that you should have done, right? That's awesome. That's great, man. Final question for the Pummel game, Diego. If a zombie apocalypse happens right now in California, what's the first thing you're going to do?
Fly to Brazil.
Fly to Brazil.
Because over there, the house is much safer.
Yeah. They're thick. Yeah, the big.
Because they have a lot of walls, and he is like a open,
Yeah. Every house has like a stone wall around it here. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the most place safe is in Brazil.
That's awesome, man. And Diego, that was the final question for the Pummel game. Congratulations, you win. You got your double underhooks.
Thank you.
Of course. So Diego, man, we talked about your transition from the social project to Sister Costa's project to eventually today. Today you're now with AOJ. You're with Art of Jiu-Jitsu. With the Mendez brothers, obviously an incredible place to be training and learning. Something I saw you say, I can't remember where I saw you say this. You said somewhere that you had to start training really early in the morning because that's when the competition classes were, and that was something that was really weird for you because I think it was like a 6 or 7 a.m. training. I'm not a morning person myself, so I can totally relate to this. How has that been going now that you've been there for a little while?
I mean, I'm not the morning person as well, but like I have to get it used to, and then now I honestly started to like it because I already did my whole training, my whole main training already. So during the morning, so now I can do whatever I want. So I just come home, like eat, rest, go to lift weights, come back, do my private lessons. So it's kind of like I have like the whole day, and so it's after 11 a.m. my main thing is already done, so now I can do whatever I want. Of course I have to still a busy day because I have to lift weights. Sometimes I have a private, so I have to keep working into 2-3 p.m. So but after that I just can chill, So I think on the beginning I didn't like it because it's so early.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of like I had to be on automatic, It's kind of, but now I feel good, I'm still like, I still wake like lazy, but you do what you gotta do, right? So you have to go. I have training, and after training, when the training is done, I feel like really good. So that's the good part. So you have to feel good like after everything you did. So that's good. So, and I have the whole day to meet for me, and I still do a lot of things. So I live by close to the beach, so I can take the dogs there and then like walk around, and then that's it.
That's awesome. That's good. No, it's definitely, you definitely make a good point. All my friends that are morning people, they always mention that if they get going really early, by the time lunchtime hits, most of their day has been accomplished. And there's certainly a lot to be said for that. But I do always give my friends a hard time. The ones that train at like a 6 a.m. class, I'm like, man, you guys are serial killers. Like you guys, that's not normal, man. Like you guys definitely have dead animals in your house, or you have a body in your closet or something. Like anyone that wakes up ready to go at 5 or 6 a.m., I'm just like, I can't even compute it. But I'm trying. I'm trying to do the same thing. One thing that's tough for me, I can't have coffee. Like if I drink coffee, I get real nervous and jittery. Do you drink coffee or anything like that to help you get going?
I mean, like after 1 year, I started like drinking coffee like couple times, but like not like I used to like all the time, or every day. So just like a couple times. Sometimes I just eat like one bananas and then just go. And then when I come back, that I 10:30 when I come back from the last training, and then like I eat normal. But like I stay for 6 a.m. to 10:30 without nothing. So just training, water, and
Wow.
I think my body like I think my body already like used to like doing this, and then it's kind of like a natural. But of course, I'm still hungry, but it's not that hungry. Like you usually you get it when you wake up early and you do when you do nothing, and then you still like all day into like lunch like with nothing, so you still like a lot of hungry. But if you're doing like jiu-jitsu, all this stuff, that you keep your mind like busy, it's kind of like you forget about the food.
Yeah, I've seen people do that. That's another one that, I don't know how well I would do not having food in my stomach, but I do know a lot of people that do that. In fact, one of my instructor, I'm a student of Damian Maya's, and Damian does that a lot. Like he'll show up like fasting and still do like competition training. I'm like, man, like how do you have the energy or the fuel for that? Like I feel like I would gas out in like a couple of rounds. So, but it's interesting though, and there's also been a lot of like MMA fighters and things like that prefer to not eat anything before their fight. So it's interesting how that works different for different people. But well, good for you for getting used to training that early, man. I'm trying. Yeah. I'm slowly working my way to get up earlier and earlier and earlier. Right now I'm about 9 a.m. right now, so I'm trying to get down to like 8 and then eventually
that's good.
7. Yeah, it's for me that's good. It used to be much worse than that, but
it's just harder to wake up. Like after you wake up, like you put the clothes out, like all right, let's do it.
You're there. Yeah, it's like I might as well just keep going now. I'm out of bed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man, well, Diego, we talked earlier. One of my favorite things about watching you compete, man, is obviously your guard work, and something I've always admired about your game in particular is your ability to overwhelm people with your guard, and specifically with your guard retention, which is a major asset in your game. We've seen like notoriously good guard passers really struggle to get through your guard. When do you think your guard retention really started to become an important part of your game?
Yeah, like I say on the beginning, I had to work a lot on these things like guard retention, all this stuff, and then and I started like it, and then started like dip in, and then try to looking more like advanced like guard retention, and I saw a lot of videos from many athletes like what they do. If I was not that person like I look into the technique, like for example like I like to say like a lapel, for example. Everybody like to play lapel, but they forget about like between the mat, the sort of the technique, and then the finish, and have a between this have a lot of bunch of stuff, and to get it on the real technique. So you have to pull yourself like to the sideways, like the right spot, like at the right grip, the right moment. Of course, like bunch of stuff. But like between this, like if it's something happen, they got like a break the grip, like try to pass your guard or something like that, and you're not ready for that. It's kind of harder, so it's harder to come back from to fight again. And then that's the thing. I started looking into like what I need, and I started looking, for example, if the guy doing like a beating bolos, I'm gonna train the counter. So if the guy play like on top, I'm gonna play guard. So I started looking to between what like I give the hard time to the guys. For example, if the guy hit my side control, what I can do to frustrate him to not stabilize the side control, or if they got the leg drag, what I can do to give you a hard time for him to not stabilize, to not concrete the pass, you know. So this type of things like start like build my mind and say I have to look into like the whole system, not like just like the start of the technique and then the finish the technique. So it's more about like the basic things. So I was into like I started like putting my mind on this like since the beginning when I started jiu-jitsu until now. I try to figure out like what the people was like looking for, and then not like what they like they let pass between them, because I mean it's easy to try to do the technique what, for example, the professor says, for example, or if you saw the technique on the YouTube or whatever, or like you see your idol do on the tournament, and then try to apply. Of course, it's nice if you can apply, it's fine. But like before this, I have a bunch of things happen. So the grips, all the stuff. So I started looking always before. So I was trying to get ready for everything. So the a time on my life, I was like between like my purple belt to brown belt and into like a black belt. I was like a 12 flying to Europe like all every year, and then every year, and then I have to train with the people over there. But like over there, they have a higher level of jiu-jitsu. They have like tough guys. Just was me and my wife. It's kind of like I was training with my wife like almost the whole year, and then it's kind of like I let them people get in a good position, and I try to replace the my guard from there. So it's kind of like a start like knowing my body, like my limit of my body, like for example my legs and my hips. For example, if the guy hit my side control, if he hug my head, of course I still can recovery. And then if they hit my side control, if I keep this frame and I still working and I can recovery. So this type of thing I think made my guard like retentions really good. So I let the people like get into a good position and try to escape from there, like in a technical level. It's not like on the strength, because like what the people does when the guy hit their side control, like just push it, boom. And then I mean, it's not wrong, but I think if you cannot do it like in the explosive moment, and then I think you're gonna be on a bad scenario to. It's not a good spot to be. So when you cannot like expose yourself. So that's why I started to go into like technical things, like work with a little space, or try to create my own space on the bad spots. So I think I recommend to you guys this.
That's excellent, man. That's excellent.
So,
What do you
yeah.
what do you think is the number one skill or drill that someone could do to make their guard retention better, in your opinion?
It's a good question. There's a lot of things, but I think one drill I like to do a lot is like when the guy go on a north south and then like drop the weight on top of you and you like do kind of push ups and you bring your legs close, like a kind of stuck position, close to the chest of the guy. So you let the guy go onto your chest and you push, you bring like close to your head. So you kind of do push ups, boom, and then go back and forth all the time. So with that, you kind of expect the people go around you and then go to the north south, like put pressure, and you have to bump and then create the space, your own space to bring your legs in and then start like face the guy again. So I think, I don't know, I don't have a name for this.
No, yeah, I can totally picture what you're saying though. Yeah, it's just like recovering
Yeah.
from the north south. Yeah, that's great.
Yes. So like the guys drop the weight like a heavy, put the knees on the ground, like can cross the arm, like a drop the weight on top of you, and you start like a bench press in, and then you start like bring your legs close to you. Of course, you have a limit with your legs on the beginning, but like once you get the movement, then you have to used to do like this movement, and then you're gonna feel like much more comfortable like during the technique. So it's take time. So I think all the basic ones you can get it like every like guard retention you can training. I think it's gonna useful for you like on your whole on your jiu-jitsu skill. So to get better on the guard. So I think try to do everything.
That's
all the
outstanding.
guard retention.
That's outstanding.
Yeah,
man.
because sometimes you like are playing lasso. So if the guys, I don't know, like bump the lasso and do the turn pass, you have something from there. So you have to study what I can avoid the guy doing this. And then, for example, the stuck position, I have another one. And the guy's turn pass is another one. Over, under, double, under. So you have to explore more what you need on this. Like you can see a lot of seniors on when you play jiu-jitsu, when you're training. So try to be more focused on this than just look into like the technique on the finish, on the end of the technique, like for example, I'm gonna put lapel, I'm gonna put lasso, and I'm gonna go the triangle, or I'm gonna put lapel and gonna sweep the guy, or gonna mount, or gonna take his back. No, you have to look before, I think. So
yeah, no, that's great advice, man. Yeah, it's funny because that was a huge revelation I had in my jiu-jitsu personally, is that I was doing what you just said. I was focusing more on like the positions I want to get, the sweeps I want to hit, the submissions I want to go for, but I wasn't really thinking about retention for a long time. Like it wasn't until I was like late in my purple belt that I started to realize, oh, my retention, like duh, it's something. That's why I keep getting my guard passed, and so yeah, when I really focused on that, it helped me a lot. So I think it's great advice you just gave, man. And luckily for anyone listening that's wanting to work on this, Diego has an awesome instructional with us. It's called the Pato Guard Retention System. It's available right now at BJJFanatics.com. He breaks down all the aspects of his retention game for dealing with various different types of passes that you might be dealing with. So check that out at BJJFanatics.com. Well, folks, unfortunately, we're fresh out of time. Diego, man, your story is such an incredible story, and I really appreciate you sharing it, man. I appreciate you being so open about your past. It's really inspirational, everything you talked about today, man.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you sharing your knowledge. Like I said, you're one of my favorite people to watch compete, so getting to pick your brain was really a pleasure. You're welcome back on the show anytime you'd like to come back.
Thank you.
For anyone out there that wants to keep up with Diego, it's really easy to do so. He's active on Facebook. It's Diego Oliveira is his athlete page. Instagram is Diego Pato JJ. Make sure you guys follow there. He's also got a YouTube channel. Type in Diego Pato and you'll find his channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell icon to get notified when he adds new videos. And then also, guys, if you're ever making your way out to the West Coast and you're near Costa Mesa, check out Art of Jiu-Jitsu. It's obviously one of the meccas of Jiu-Jitsu around the world. So great place to drop in, and when you drop in, you'll probably see Pato there training, getting ready to win his next championship. If you guys can't make it out to California and you want to learn directly from Pato, you can learn anywhere in the world from him here at BJJFanatics.com. His instructional, again, is called the Pato Guard Retention System, and it's available right now at BJJFanatics.com, so you guys go check it out. And that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the BJJ Fanatics podcast.